Well, it's looking like this is going to be a horrible day for some of the finest people in our society because at some point today, maybe tomorrow morning, a bunch of firefighters in King County are going to be told that they are the ones who are fired because of vax status. And one of the people who's expecting to get that word is Captain Frank Dahlquist, who joins us. He's with Eastside Fire and Rescue. He joins us here on the Dory Monson Show. Captain, good to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dory. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be talking under these circumstances. Okay, so what is the circumstance of you facing firing in just maybe a matter of minutes or hours?
Yeah, this unfortunately, we have approximately 100 firefighters outside of the Seattle area and about 100 inside Seattle itself that are affected by the vaccine mandate. We have approved exemptions, religious exemptions or medical exemptions, depending on the person. But unfortunately, we're not being accommodated for those religious beliefs. And so, today and tomorrow, there's many members that are running up against the 6-month unpaid leave of absence that we've been on since October. And, unfortunately, we're being fired.
And I'm always a little reluctant to ask this because part of me thinks there's none of my business what the basis of your religious exemption request is. But are you willing to share why you have taken this stand against getting vaxxed personally?
Well, that's unfortunately part of our legal argument that's going to be going forward in potential, legal cases. All I really could say is that we have a strongly held religious belief that the vaccine isn't for us. I can't speak for everybody. It's basically for one reason or another, and that's kind of where we're at with it. They have been approved by the agency, and so they acknowledge that we have this strongly held religious belief. And at this point, when you look at Pierce County or even Snohomish County and fire departments all over across the state, they allowed for accommodations to work within the mandate and still continue to work as firefighters. So ultimately, the fire departments in King County are kind of on this island. You'll have like a city of Everett, Bellingham, and Spokane that are not giving accommodations as well. But we just saw, hey, we have some great news here out of Snohomish County. Marysville brought their firefighters back here just a few weeks ago, and now Snohomish Regional has committed to bringing their firefighters back. So, the fire chiefs are starting to say, hey, we don't want to lose these valued members that we've got. They're highly trained. Eastside, I just redid the math. We have like 190 years of experience, career experience. That doesn't include volunteering, that we're going to lose because of this.
I got an email from a Shoreline firefighter, and he was telling me that, often Snohomish County will respond to fires in King County and vice versa, and that the unvaxxed Snohomish firefighters, they're allowed to come in and help out in King County, and yet an unvaxxed Shoreline firefighter is going to be fired for being unvaxxed. I mean, the whole thing, it's so illogical. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah, well, let me add a little bit to that one, too, because there's actually a finer point to that. There's a lot of misinformation at the very beginning, and we were being told that, the hospitals wouldn't allow us to transport patients in and all kinds of things like that. Well, here's what's going on today. Fully vaccinated King County Fire Department, doesn't matter which one, sees a medical patient. They provide care, give them to a private ambulance company. Well, that private ambulance company also gives their EMTs accommodations, and then that private ambulance company takes that patient to a hospital. And guess what the hospitals are doing? They're giving accommodations for their doctors and their nurses. So they're giving them to unvaccinated people all the way through the chain, but yet for some reason our fire chiefs are not willing to work within the vaccine mandate, which allows us within the state to work as firefighters.
I want to stress here, because I think I heard this about you, that you and I are both against the mandates. You and I have no problem with other people getting vaccinated. I happen to be vaccinated. You are not. But you're not anti-vax, right? This is just a very personal issue for you, correct?
That's very true. 80% of our local out of the Eastside area voted against the mandate, that we wanted to stand up against it and said, we can recognize things like natural immunity and other like our PPE and stuff that we've been using in daily COVID testing. And so this is not a political issue. This is not an us versus them or anything like that. This is saying that in our community where we recognize diversity of thoughts and beliefs and culture, is why are we not afforded those same things, right? Myself, I had COVID in September. And, I had a little bit of pneumonia. I got through it like all of our firefighters that got sick did, and we've all been able to return to the line. I've been part of a Fred Hutch antibody study for COVID for the last 6 months where they take a blood draw, a large immune response with, proven natural immunity, and yet they won't recognize that. But that the CDC and the federal government recognizes natural immunity. We've seen study after study showing that it's robust, it's long term.
Sure. Well, look, it's
and so yeah.
Not only that, but it clearly is so that being vaccinated doesn't prevent you from getting COVID. It doesn't prevent you from transmitting it. We have had, millions of cases of fully vaxxed, fully boosted people who have still gotten COVID, these, so-called breakthrough cases. And so the vaccine isn't doing anything near what it was promised to do when these mandates were first being conceived a year and a half ago.
Right. What was originally said was that we were trying to flatten the curve and, all these types of things that we'd heard before. And that's my point is that, what we thought we knew before has changed. And I think most of us can acknowledge, a reasonable person would acknowledge that it has. And so now it's time to reevaluate this thing. Why do we want to fire firefighters when we could be retaining, these valued members in our community that just give back?
It's amazing to me. Well, and you look in Seattle where there are 4 homeless camp and fires every day right now. It's not like we can lose firefighters on the job. You told me off the air that it strikes you as particularly ironic, your firing coming up. It's a little after 2 o'clock. You said it could happen in minutes, hours, or maybe tomorrow morning. But you said it's a little ironic given where we are in your faith calendar right now?
Yeah, well, we just we celebrated Easter over the weekend, and what an amazing time to talk about the resurrection of Christ and how he was persecuted for his religious beliefs. And not that I want to set us as an example to the sacrifice, but the reality is we are being discriminated for our religious beliefs at this point. There's no science. The agencies have not substantiated the hardship that they're saying that there is to not provide an accommodation. And that is really the crux of the argument. What else does it boil down to is that we have a religious belief, we're asking for an accommodation, and they're not providing it.
You told me that this firing is going to come at the end of a 6-month unpaid leave of absence. How are you guys putting food on the table and paying your mortgages if you haven't gotten a paycheck for 6 months?
Well, a lot of us as firefighters, we came from other trades. Being a skilled firefighter means that building construction and you have a lot of other technical skills, and that's where a lot of us kind of fell back on the things that we were doing prior, just to kind of keep some funds coming in. It doesn't pay the same, doesn't have the same benefits, and we're definitely not the job that we really want, because ultimately firefighting is a calling that we all signed up to risk everything for others. But it's been pretty tough. I'll just be honest. And if you want to know the impacts of what's going on in the fire department and the community, we can go into that as well.
Well, I wish I had time for that right now, but we'll talk again about all this. So who do you put this on? Is it Inslee, or if you tell me that Snohomish and Pierce are allowing their firefighters? Is this a Dow Constantine thing in King County?
Well, ultimately, in the county, King County, the fire chiefs decided to kind of work together to not give accommodations as just a blanket statement. So inside the proclamation, it allows us to continue to work. And so it came down to the individual agency level. And that's why we're asking people to, show up to the city council meetings like Bellevue's tonight at 6 o'clock and show up and just show support for your firefighters and just ask for them to be retained. And then you'll have Bothell the next day, and you'll have, others that are in the future here this week. But we just want the community to get engaged and just let their board, the fire board, or the city councils know that you want to retain these valued firefighters.
Yeah, I'm so sorry this is happening to you, Captain. And like I said, when we have so many fires that are blazing every single day all around the county, it's just pure insanity what's going on. Captain Frank Dahlquist, I appreciate you coming on with me this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you, Dory. I just really appreciate you getting our message out. And, this is a message of healing. This is the message of moving forward post, COVID, and I just really thank you for your time.
You got it, sir. All right, Captain Dahlquist, been on the front line for more than 15 years, but any time now, it's probably going to get the word that he is fired for that vax mandate that has been proven to not do anywhere near what was promised when they first crafted these mandates. It's insanity at the bureaucratic level. Love to hear your thoughts. You can text me at 888-973 Cairo, 888-973-5476. Up next in the big lead.